Coming up, and I see your senator. What a stiff. What a stiff. Lindsey Graham. By the way, he's registered 0 in the polls. 0. He's on television all the time.
I think they call this doubling down, but not content with alienating John McCain and other powers that be in the party. Donald Trump going after Lindsey Graham, one of those 16 of Republicans vying for the presidential nomination. One of them joins us right now, former Governor Mike Huckabee. Governor, always good to have you. What did you make of what Donald Trump said to Lindsey Graham just moments ago?
You know, Neil, I get in enough trouble about the things I say about you. I don't plan to get involved in this tangle with Donald and everybody else. And you said 16 people in the race. I thought there were a lot more than that, but 16, I guess, is a good number.
All right. But, you know, he does get it. And I probably fed the beast, Governor, by just airing that clip because he speaks. And obviously the media pounces on that sort of thing. They're going to follow up with the Lindsey Graham comments. He has said many of the candidates, you included. Is he just a noisemaker? Is someone you take seriously, polls very well, or you just concentrate on your race and let the chips fall where they may?
I'm concentrating on my race. I mean, there's so many things that we need to be talking about. When I go out and talk to people in places like South Carolina, where I was yesterday, nobody comes up and asks me about Donald Trump. They want to know, what am I going to do about jobs, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, keeping America safe? And I think it's a lot of interest in the media because it's good copy. But in terms of the people who are out there struggling, and there are a lot of people who are really hurting in this country right now, whose economy is not in this recovery that the president keeps talking about, and they don't care about our little cat fights among ourselves. They want somebody who's going to be fighting for them instead.
You know, though, I have a crackpot theory on this, Governor, and it concerns the populist appeal of Donald Trump with the populist appeal on the other end of the aisle with a Bernie Sanders, and that each speaks to a certain rage or a frustration out there that's palpable. It's palpable in the Democratic Party. I think it's very palpable in the Republican Party as well. And do you think that it isn't so much Trump as the messenger, but his message? Maybe some call it simplistic, some call it a little in your face, but that is resonating with voters who've had it. What do you make of that?
Well, there's something going on out there, and I can attest to this. There is a certain number of the voters who are so angry. I mean, it's not just displeasure, it's rage. It's white hot rage. And frankly, their feeling is not, hey, I want you to go and govern. Their feeling is, I want you to go and burn it down. Now, that's not a sustainable kind of process, and it's certainly not what I think the overall population of America wants to elect someone to do. But people are angry, and a lot of times people will say, I just want someone who will fight. And I'll ask them, well, do you want them to fight so as to win and to improve things, or just fight? Because I've said, any drunken redneck can walk in a bar and start a fight. The question is, can he finish the fight? But right now, there is an enormous level of rage out there, and I think that you see a lot of it in terms of how people are responding.
You know, Governor, I think of where you fit in this race, and I remember you were so successful in your first run and surprised a lot of people because you were open and happy to mention religion, to mention Jesus, to say God. And now, all these years later, you've got half a dozen other candidates doing that. You just heard Governor Kasich doing the same. Is it a crowded field for that religious vote, for want of a better term?
Well, I think a lot of people realize that the big bulk of America is certainly religious. They're either Christian or they're Jewish, but they believe that faith is an important part of what makes up the fabric of America. But I think there's also another element. I mean, I've never felt like that my appeal was limited to people who were faith-based, but also people who are working class, people who feel left out of the Washington to Wall Street axis of power, people who are sick of the donor class tossing dollars at the political class and getting the dance that they want. So that's what I'm continuing to see out there in the early states. People are just sick of the political system where they know that when they elect Republicans, things don't really change that much.
You know, they're frustrated because they heard when I last had a chance to talk to you in person, Governor, we were in Orlando for that Florida Economic Summit. They were frustrated by your comments on Social Security. Not those who get Social Security, want Social Security, don't want it touched. But others said that you missed a golden opportunity to say, yeah, we do have a problem here, a funding problem going forward, and we've got to address it. Governor Christie of New Jersey has been among those advocating raising the retirement age, maybe means testing it. But you just avoided all of that. And the rap was I got from a lot of people, well, Governor Huckabee is not touching that third rail. And maybe very wise politically, but he would not be the guy to address entitlements. What do you say?
Well, I think they're wrong, because what I say is there's two things we have to do. Grow the economy so that we can afford these programs. The second thing is, one of the reasons I'm a strong supporter for the fair tax, which is a tax on consumption, is because it addresses one of the reasons we're in such trouble with Social Security. A ever decreasing number of people get their money through wages. Most income today is derived by investments and capital gains, which doesn't have any Social Security tax. Under the fair tax, when we tax consumption, the income stream that helps fund it is now all the general revenue. That's a big difference, Neil. But I don't think you go tell somebody who has worked for 51 years and had their check taken out involuntarily that, oh, by the way, we lied to you, we stole from you, and we're going to stick it to you one more time. I just think that that's not something you push on people who have worked a lifetime, and you blame them for the government screwing up.
Governor Huckabee, a pleasure. Good seeing you again.
Good to see you, Neil.
All right, you be well. All right, Governor Mike Huckabee. All right.